Well, hello everybody. How's it going today? Hope everybody's doing really good and ramping right up to greatness. We got a Fender acoustic on the bench here today. This is a DG-3 model. This belongs to a friend of mine. He's actually a drummer and he plays some guitar on the side as well. So there's a few little minor issues that we got to address with this. Nothing too major. I played this guitar for a little bit last night, and I had to take a step back at how good it played and how good it sounded. I'm not even kidding you. When I get it all back up and running, I'll play it for you in a video. It really, I mean, this is a real ringer, you know? It's a funny story with this. He told me he got this in trade. Well, he traded a guy a 30-pack of beer for it. He didn't say what brand. I'm thinking, Budweiser or something, maybe Bud Light. Pretty common in Maine. Anyway, I think he got a good deal. I know he got a good deal. Anyways, it's not about the deal. It's about the sound, and it's about having the guitar stay together. So, what we're going to look at today is this. I've done a few drop fills with some CA glue already, but we got some cracks in between the bridge pinholes, okay? You can see them pretty easy. Now, here's something else. Hopefully I can capture this. Can you see how much that the saddle's tipped forward? Okay. Now, the first thing that strikes me as a little odd is this. It's discolored. I can see sanding marks as well. So somebody, I think in an attempt to lower the action, sanded this at one point. There's no question it's been sanded. And when you lower this height, okay, you're lowering the slot that the saddle sits in. And that's what happens. When it's too shallow, they'll tip. So let's pull this out. If I can get her out. I think I can get it. Oh, yeah. To get the cloth. So it's shimmed, too. Look at the shims in there. So we may pull those out too, and that will take care of the tipping. Now, the guitar played really well. The action wasn't bad. Just from what I remember, I think I can pull them shims out and make it happen, though. And that will correct that a little bit, which will raise it some. You got to remember, we're going to pull shims out to lower it. But as that lowers it, it's also going to correct the angle of the bridge, which is going to raise it some. So I think, the trade-off between removing the shims and correcting the angle of the saddle should put it back pretty nice. So that's just a thought. So if you see a guitar that's got a saddle that's tipped really, really bad, towards the neck, that's usually the case. It's been sanded or it's shimmed, okay? Now, I think this is a little bit of both here because you can see where it was sanded. It's not a big deal. I'm going to take care of that. I am going to have to sand, some of these in between where I fill it. I don't have to. It's not a big deal to him probably, but I'm going to make it look nice again, and we'll blend all this stuff back together, and I'll oil it up so you won't be able to tell that it's sanded. It's not a big deal to do it, and I don't mind doing it. So the other thing we're going to check is this. Okay, so I noticed last night. Okay, so you can see I can stat a piece of paper under the corner. Now I think it's just in the corner. Now, I tried another piece up here, and I couldn't get anything statted around the back, and what I think it is, see that corner too, a little bit of it. Now, if I come up here on the edge, or try to stat it in on the side, I can't. Now, what that tells me is this. It's hooked all the way back here, too. It hasn't lifted. It's just not glued in the corners. So what I'm going to do is probably push some glue in there and at least reattach it and probably, put a little bit of pressure down on the corners. I really think it's fixed to the guitar okay. I just don't think the glue pushed out to the very corners here. And, you know, before it starts to lift it anymore, I am going to put some glue in there. And, you know, either clamp it or I'll take some rods or dowels and make a bow bar deal from my shelf to the top of the guitar and just have them push down on the corners. Basically, you just take a piece of wood or a fiberglass rod, and, you know, it's got to be a little longer than this distance. Not a lot, but a little bit, so you can put a little bit of a bow in it, and it's just like somebody holding down on it for you. They've been using that technology for centuries, so it works great. It's really cheap to do. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is do a few more drop fills on these cracks. Okay, guys, so what we're going to do here, now I'm going to sand these down. You know, I'm going to resurface this anyway, so I will be sanding the you know, the glue flush to the top of the crack here. So you could just take a thing of glue and, you know, put some drops on there. What I like to do sometimes, just to save more work of getting it off, is I'll take a toothpick a lot of times, and I'll put a little daub of glue on it like this, and that way I can really focus on it and really get just what I need to fill the little crack that I'm trying to fill here. And that just saves me from getting a big daub of glue on there, which I'm going to have to wipe off and sand off eventually. So this method kind of works good. And again, all I'm doing is just putting a daub of super glue on the toothpick. Hopefully you can see that. You know, just like this, basically. And it works good, like I said. And if you're using now something like this, I would recommend using like medium viscosity super glue. I don't think you'd want to use thin so much on this, and my reason for that is it's probably going to be, you know, it's going to be too thin, and it'll just run off the toothpick, and you may drop it on the guitar somewhere that you don't want to. So, you know, this is how I've been doing these lately with a toothpick. It works for me, and I just wanted to pass that along anyway. So there, that takes care of those. You know, like I said, this is going to take a little bit of work after the fact, because you have to, you know, you have to finish these off, so to speak. Now you can see there's some pretty good drops on there, but it's kind of maintained right to the cracks, and that's good. And I could control how much I put in there, which is huge. I am going to pop the bridge out of there, and I think we'll pull those shims out too. Well, I am pretty excited about having my buddy Dave stop by and do some drumming for me on some recordings. That'll be fun. He has a really unique style. Boy, what did they glue those in? It's a pretty thick shim in there. He's left-handed. He plays a right-handed drum set. You know, he only has to move a couple cymbals around when he, you know, sits down on my kit, and mine's right-handed, so. But the way he plays, I think it's an advantage doing that, the way he does it. I've seen other guys do that as well. Wow, that shim is anchored in there, folks. But, you know, it's just the way he does drum fills. Even rhythmic patterns can be different with guys that are playing southpaw on a right-handed kit. It's really its own thing. It's kind of neat and unique, like I said. Yeah, that shim is... They glued it in there. I'm not even kidding you. Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't know what I'm going to have to do to that. I'm going to have to get out the router, I think, is going to be the next move. I'm just kidding. I think I can dig it out of there, but it's not going to come out easy. Good Lord. Well, I had to shut the camera off because of the swearing and stuff. I had to get mad at that to get it out. And I actually had to get a hammer and a small flathead screwdriver to chisel out the rest of it. They did glue it in there, knuckleheads. So anyway, it's not a big deal. We're going to get that all fixed up too. And, you know, I can always put a shim in there if I need to. You don't have to glue them in. They'll, you know, if you're going to do it, glue the shim to the bottom of your saddle or something, you know? Don't glue it to the guitar. That's not cool. So anyway, pretty simple fix on that. So I just wanted to share you the little toothpick trick that I use. And I also went in underneath with a mirror and looked and checked the bridge pad under here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, when the bald end of your string goes down through this hole, okay, and then you put your bridge pin in there and it binds it in there, that bald end is coming up under and it's then being held to this bridge pad that's underneath here on the inside of the guitar, okay? I know a lot of you guys probably already know this, but I have to say it anyways because there is a chance that somebody watching this may not know what that is. And just to explain what happens is the bald ends can get like sucked up through the bridge pad and it can get all broke out underneath. So you got to look that over. And just remember, if you have these windings, okay, you see that where it's wound on the end? If that winding is coming up further on one string than it is on the others, there's a good chance it's pulled up through. Then all you have holding it is this thin top and this, and it don't last long. So I went inside and checked it out anyway. It's all good and solid, so we're good that way. We are going to fix these little issues on the corners here. They're just, it's really not lifting. Like I said, it's all solid back here. I can't get the paper in. But on each corner, I just don't think there's any glue. It didn't get pushed out. So we're going to address that too. And there's one other thing I'm going to check on this because last night I was tapping on it and I heard a loose brace. So we're going to check that out right now too. Okay, folks, so what I usually do when I take a guitar in, I go around, just use not my fingernails, and just the side of my thumb or the fat of part of my finger. Now what I'm looking for is a vibration. After I make that strike, if it goes or whatever, it makes some weird vibrating noise, then it's a loose brace. So I did hear one on this guitar last night. Now I'll start around the edges again. Right there. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera, but I can hear a little after vibration. It's not bad, but I think it's this brace on the inside which runs across the back of the guitar. It's about right here. So what I'll do with that is probably just stand the guitar up. Now I'm reaching in and I'm just grabbing the brace and trying to wiggle it back and forth and see if it's loose. I'm also pinching the brace like this and kind of pushing against the back of the guitar to see if it's separating from the back of the guitar. And I don't feel nothing really bad there. I'm going to check the brace in behind. Same thing. Now I'll also grab it and try to tip it back and forth, not try to break it, just to see if it moves. Those all feel pretty good. You know, it could have been, honestly, what I was hearing last night could have even been just that rattling with them saddles the way they were. I don't know. So, I don't feel anything really bad. Now what I'm going to do is check this again. Right there. So, I can even tell which side of the brace. Now, I don't feel it moving really bad. Now, I can feel a little bit of separation when I pinch the brace and kind of try to pull up on the brace. I can feel the back of the guitar kind of move away from my pinching fingers. So what I'm going to do with that is probably take some thin super glue. I'll stand the guitar upright. Okay, you know, stand it right up, set it on a pad on the floor. I'll go inside there and I'll run a bead of thin super glue across that brace. And I'll tape the brace off and the back of the guitar and do a nice, neat job, just because it's good practice to do that, and you don't want to make a mess of somebody's guitar. So other than that, I think this is going to be a pretty easy fix. Like I said, I'll clean this all up so it looks nice again. It's got a few dings in it, but they're beauty marks, you know. This is going to get played a ton. The frets look pretty good on it. I was going to re-crown them if they needed it, but they're not bad. The fret ends don't feel too bad either, so we'll look that over, and I'll oil the fretboard up for them too and get that all back in working order. So, you know, that's how you address these, and don't let these go. These little cracks can turn into a nightmare, and that could honestly be from this. I was thinking about this when I pulled the bridge pins out of this guitar. They were it was like someone drove them in with a hammer. Now, if you push your bridge pins in, remember this, they're tapered, okay? The farther you don't have to bury the peg head in there. And I can even see the, I'll show you right here. You guys see this? You see how that hole is like it's like somebody, you know, took a drill bit and flared that hole. They're not all like that. See, this one's a little bit. This one isn't. That one, somebody pushed the bridge pin in too far. And guess what that does? Like I said, these are tapered, so when you put these tapered pins in there like that, and you put them in too far, it's got to give somewhere, and that's where it gives. It splits right in between every one of these, because that's the weakest point. You got a lot of meat out here, and you got quite a bit in between the saddle. So the weakest point is in between the bridge pin holes, and that's where they crack every time. So, you know, that's just something to look out for. Remember, you don't have to pound them in with a hammer. Just make sure they're down in there and straight. So just something to look out for. You know, it's not a big deal, and it's not the end of the world. It'll probably surprise you how much different your guitar will sound after you fix stuff like this, honestly. That really numbs the vibration, and it just, every little thing adds up. You guys know, especially with acoustic guitars. Electrics as well, but, you know, acoustics, there's no hiding it, you know. You can't mask it with a guitar pedal or an amplifier. What you hear is what you get. So, anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys, and hopefully some of that information helps you guys out along the way. It is something to look out for, you know, and if you take a guitar in that's used or something, you're going to see stuff like this. It's just what it is, you know. If you're trading a 30-pack of beer for one, you might have to buy a little super glue and fix something, but You might not too. You know, either way, I think it was a good deal, and it's going to work out good for me too as well. It's going to be cool to, you know, start doing some more recording and have a drummer. I sent him home with some stuff to listen to, and he's going to get back to me, and work some of it out and see what we can come up with. So I've got a lot of other irons in the fire here, as usual. Now I need to get a hold of my bass player buddy and get that wheel in motion too, because you got to have that happening pretty much the same time as when the drummer shows up. So it is what it is. It's all good though. It's better than shoveling or doing something monotonous, right? Okay, guys, we'll see you real soon. Have a good day. Okie doke.